Hello, good evening. My name is Richard. This is Over and Over and Over Again. We were going to bring you an after-match show, but the game's gone to extra time. We're still playing at the Emirates. It is currently Arsenal 1, Sporting Lisbon 1, which makes it 3-3 on aggregate. So we're going to go into it, watch the end of extra time, potentially penalties, and then we will look back at the game. So, yes, I mean, it's been, I don't know what you guys made of the performance tonight so far. It was pretty average, I think, overall. I think Sporting have deserved to take these to extra time. What a goal it was as well, you have to say. Gonzalez, the chip from about 40 yards, incredible goal. We've had one or two moments, but obviously going to extra time isn't ideal, is it? We've got a Premier League game on Sunday, not really the situation, and we're having to bring on all our main players, if you like. I mean, Ødegaard's just coming on now. You know, Partey's had to come on, Saka's had to come on. Yes, we've made a few substitutions to injuries as well, which hasn't helped. So overall, it's not been a great night at all, has it? Now, I mean, I've spoke about this on the channel plenty of times before about I wanted us to have a run in Europe, win another European trophy. We haven't won enough trophies. And you look at this competition, who's left in it, you think, wow, what a great chance that we've got to progress. But I don't know. It is looking as though this game could have a negative impact on the title race. Mark's in the chat, my friend, he says, it's been bloody hard work to watch. No, it has, you're right. I mean, I couldn't see much of the first half. I didn't get in until sort of half time. I watched the second half, which was poor. Mark says 6 subs. Yeah, well, of course, you're allowed an extra sub, aren't you? An extra time. We've just made the 6th sub. And it was Martin Ødegaard say, come on for Fabio Vieira. A couple of injuries as well. Saliba, with what didn't look to be a massively serious back injury, but an injury nonetheless. Tomiyasu as well looked a bit worse. I think Tomiyasu's one is, he's not playing regular football, is he? And I do think that makes an impact. When you're not playing regularly, you're much more likely to get an injury when you're playing every so often, and that's a worry because he's a great player. You have to wonder what Kieran Tierney's got to do to get a game, though, don't you? I mean, that's a problem, isn't it, for him? I'm sure he's going to be on his way out of the club at the end of the season. It's a shame it's ending like this for Kieran Tierney, who's been a great player. But even for a game like this, he can't get a game. And I thought he would have been nailed on to start this game. I mean, it was quite I know, you're probably aware of what the starting lineup was. I mean, this was the team that started. So it was pretty strong, really, wasn't it? Ramsdale, Tomiyasu, Saliba, Gabriel, Zinchenko, Jorginho, Xhaka, Vieira, Nelson, Martinelli and Jesus. Of course, Jesus went off at half-time. Not really unexpected. Martin Ødegaard's trying to lift the crowd. The last thing we wanted was extra time, really. I know there's a lot of Arsenal fans out there that wanted to throw this competition completely, not bother with it. And they'll probably be wishing they'd been right and we wasn't getting extra time. But, now it's gone to extra time. We've got to win, make it worthwhile. Otherwise, if we were to go to extra time tonight, get knocked out, and then it affects us for the weekend game, it would have been a total waste of time playing a team this strong in this game. But the second half performance wasn't really good enough, was it? And Sporting are coming forward again. They look a decent side, to be fair. They're not too shabby at all, are they? They're very quick on the counter-attack. They've caused us one or two problems. A great save from Ramsdale, wasn't there, in that second half to deny Sporting the chance to go through. He denied that Tottenham player, didn't he, which was quite nice. But the performance for me tonight, it hasn't been on it at all. We've looked a bit leggy. We've looked a bit tired. Yes, some changes, some key players missing, but it just goes to show again, doesn't it? And we've said this, throughout the season that our first 11, maybe 12, even 13 are really, really strong. They know the system. They know it inside out. They can play consistently well week after week. But as soon as you leave 2 or 3 of them out and you're having to play some of the squad players, it's just not the same, is it? We're not the same team. And that's what's happened tonight. And now we've got more of the first team on. We're looking a lot better, aren't we? With Partey on, obviously Ødegaard's come on, Trossard's come on, and all these players that have been playing so well. And it just goes to show that although we're in with a great chance in the Premier League, as we know, and if we can get through this game, we'll be in a decent chance in Europe as well. Cross comes in, Saka's header actually, but it's cleared away by Sporting. But But yeah, I don't know. We're not quite where we need to be, really, are we? Mark C says, Jesus did look lively in first half. I hope him going off was just tactical. Yeah, I mean, I think the plan was only ever going to be to give him some minutes. I was surprised he started. I thought he would come on later in the game, if I'm honest. I didn't expect him to start. But he did. He got 45 minutes under his belt, and that's a good sign. Hopefully there's no little niggles there. But the thing is, when you've had a knee injury and you come back and start playing, you are a lot more susceptible to getting muscle injuries, a hamstring, calf kind of thing. So I think it was probably the sensible decision to take him off. He's got some minutes under his belt, and hopefully he'll be able to contribute a bit more at the weekend against Crystal Palace, because we're going to need him, aren't we? We have got a corner. This is right at the very end of the first half of extra time, actually. It is still 1-1. That's 3-3 on aggregate. There's a bit of pushing and shoving inside at the 6-yard box. Ben White's involved. Xhaka is involved, as you would expect. But yeah, Martin Odegaard steps in now wearing the armband. It was Xhaka, of course, wearing the armband before. But Martin Odegaard's got it on now. He's come on to the pitch. In fact, I don't know if it is a corner. It might be a goal kick. The referee is having a word with Granit Xhaka. He may book him. I'm not really sure. But anyway, there's going to be a minute of stoppage time at the end of this first period of extra time, maybe a little bit more now, because it is going to be a corner. It is a corner. The referee just spoke to Granit there. He didn't actually book him. Of course, it was Granit Xhaka who scored a goal in the first half after a shot from Fabio Vieira was saved, and he followed it up. His 5th goal of the season, Granit Xhaka. What a season he's had, actually. Anyway, Saka's taking this corner in towards the near post, all headed over. That was a good chance, actually, for Rob Holding. Rob Holding, of course, had to come on for William Saliba in that first half. A few first half changes, actually, substitutions and what have you. And one of the substitutes, Rob Holding there, almost heading that in. In fact, he maybe should have done better for about 6 yards. A free header, headed it over the top. And we're getting down towards half-time and extra time. Penalties are looming, aren't they? This does remind me a little bit of, if you remember, very early in Arteta's Arsenal reign, we played Olympiacos, didn't we, at this stage of the Europa League? We'd won the away leg 1-0. The home leg went to extra time, and we conceded a late goal, didn't we? And they played in green and white as well, didn't they? Olympiacos that night. It kind of reminds me of that in more ways than one. They scored a late goal, didn't they, that night, and won 2-1. And then, of course, Aubameyang missed that real big chance, didn't he, right at the end? And he was never quite the same after that, was he? Aubameyang, actually. Anyway, it is half-time in extra time. Arsenal 1, Sporting 1. So that's 3-3 on aggregate. I mean, well, certainly wasn't expecting it to go the whole distance tonight, were we? But it has. And we've got another 15 minutes and potentially penalties as well. So it's going to be, I mean, for me now, we have to win this game. I'll say, having put this much into it, having gone to extra time. Trossard hit the post, actually, at the start of extra time, just before we went live, actually. That was the last bit of action that we saw. Maybe we should have scored, Trossard. Actually, it's a good save by the keeper, just got a hand to it, actually. He's looked a bit shaky there, goalkeeper, which could be a good sign if it does go to penalties. But he did make a great save there from Trossard, actually. If he didn't get a hand to that, that would have gone in. And he pushed it onto the post. But there's 15 minutes still to play, and Sporting will fancy their chances here because they've played well. You have to say, Sporting have played well over the 2 legs as well. I thought last week they played well as well. They were 2-1 up, could easily have took a lead to this game, and we fought back and managed to get level with a deflected shot. But they've certainly, there's been very little to choose between the two sides over the 2 legs. We haven't been at our best. We know that. We haven't played at our Premier League best, have we, in either of these 2 games? But we are still very much in with a chance of going through. And, I really, really want to see us have a good run in this Europa League this season because, I'd love us to win another European trophy. It's been nearly 20 years, hasn't it, since the last one? And I don't know whether you guys were around to see Melvin's show the other night with Lee, looking back on that success in Copenhagen. We haven't won a European trophy since. It seems incredible, doesn't it? A club of our size and stature. We've only won 2 in our whole history. I mean, it's very, very poor record in Europe that we've got. I mean, no, we've done reasonably well in the Europa League, haven't we? We've reached a final, we've reached 2 semi-finals, but we haven't quite managed to win. The shot comes in, just wide, actually. Thomas Partey, it was, from the edge of the box, right at the start of the second period of extra time. Almost put us in front, but not quite able to. It's a good move, actually. Saka pulled the ball back, and He just tried to side foot that into that far corner. He did it first time. Good effort, actually, just curling away, though. In fact, it was a lot further wide in the replay than it looked initially, actually. But it's still 1-1. And Arsenal are, I don't know, we've struggled, really. We haven't kept possession particularly well. We've given the ball away in some really bad areas of the pitch tonight. And Sporting, I say, are a decent team. They move the ball quickly. They've got pace. They've got a lot of skill. Gonzalez is a very good player, scored a fantastic goal. And we are, I don't know, it's difficult to really know what to make of this, because I really want us to go through. I'd love us to go and win this trophy. You see Saliba on the bench there looking fairly relaxed. I'm sure his injury's not too serious. But we shall wait and see news on that. And of course, the injury to Tomiyasu as well. Not that Tomiyasu is really starting many games, is he, at the moment? So I'm not really thinking that that's going to be a serious problem. But again, it's squad depth, isn't it? And if we've got players out at this point in the season, I don't think that's a good sign, is it? Definitely not. Anyway, now we may end up bringing you some excitement I wasn't expecting to in the form of a penalty shootout a bit later on. If nobody scores in the next 12 minutes or so that remain of this game, we will have a penalty shootout at the Emirates. A very rare occurrence, actually, isn't it? When was the last penalty shootout at the Emirates? Has there been one at the Emirates? I remember one or two at Highbury. I remember one against Rotherham that seemed to go on all night in the League Cup back in the day. There hasn't been too many, has there, actually? Penalty shootouts at the Emirates. There was one or two at Highbury, I can remember, but I'll say, has there ever been one at the Emirates? If anyone knows, let me know if there has been, because I certainly can't remember one. Anyway, Trossard just causing a few problems there. A decent ball in, and Ødegaard's scooped it over the top from about 7 yards. Another half chance for Arsenal, but we're not. Apart from that big Trossard chance at the start of extra time, we've not really created too much since, pretty much since half time, if I'm honest. The second half, I didn't watch much of the first half because I didn't get into about half time, but we didn't create too much in that second half, did we, if we're totally honest? And it was only that great save from Aaron Ramsdale that actually kept us in it in that second half, wasn't it? So, I mean, we've had a bit more control of the game in extra time. Sporting haven't looked really dangerous at all, and they've not. I can't remember them having a chance either in extra time, actually. So it's been we've had more control of the game in extra time, but we've not created too many chances, really, have we? Apart from that one that hit the post from Trossard, that's about it, really. And that was a mistake by Sporting's defender, wasn't it? They gave the ball away, and we were straight onto it and nearly scored. But yeah, I don't know. We've got 7 minutes to play here. No, sorry, we've got 12 minutes to play, 11 and a half minutes to play here at the end of extra time. And are we going to see a penalty shootout, which would be, quite exciting, wouldn't it, to see a penalty shootout? It's not ideal, is it? But it's something a bit different. And I say, after all of this effort that we've put in, the extra time and what have you, I think it's massively important that we go through now. But I know there'll be a few of you out there that are probably not really bothered and think that if it's going to disrupt our title charge, then maybe we might be better off going out. But having played extra time now, we might as well go through this one and see where we end up. Plus, as well, I do think the momentum keeps the season alive, doesn't it? And I think that's really important. Anyway, I was coming forward now. Ødegaard to Saka. Can he pull it back? He can, but the cross was too close to the goalkeeper. He was always struggling there, Saka, actually, to keep that ball in. Anyway, Arsenal now really up the tempo in this extra period now. Mark C says it's a final pass, doing as in, yeah, it is. It's just not quite there, is it? The final ball, and that's it's let us down a little bit, but yeah, at least we're showing a lot more control now, aren't we, in the game? I'm not really, in that second half, every time Sporting had the ball, you think, or every time we lost the ball, generally, you were thinking, oh my God, we're going to concede a goal. But in this extra time, I've not really felt that so much. They've not really looked that dangerous, have they? Have they run out of legs a little bit? They've made a few substitutions as well. And are they maybe settling for a penalty shootout? I don't know. They've certainly given as good as they've got in over these 2 legs, haven't they, Sporting Lisbon? You have to say they do look a decent team. And I say we've made 1 or 2 changes, 3 or 4 changes in the games, and you can see that the difference, can't you? I mean, if we'd stuck with our first 11, I think we'd have gone through in 90 minutes. But players need a rest. We've got a big game Sunday, and you can understand the team selection didn't really surprise me too much, apart from maybe Kieran Tierney not being in the team. I'm not sure if he's fit really, but anyway, that was the only real surprise. The rest of it, I wasn't massively shocked when I saw the starting lineup. Really, if I'm honest, maybe Matt Turner in goal. We might have expected him to start, perhaps. Marcy says that they took off that fella Trincao who looked dangerous. Now, yeah, he did. He looked a good player, didn't he? He looks tricky, actually. I recognise his name. Who's he played for before? Trincao. Has he played in the Premier League for somebody? I recognise his name. Is it like Wolves or somewhere? I'm not sure. Anyway, he did look a good player, didn't he? Anyway, Arsenal are coming forward over on that far side. Bukayo Saka, Martin Odegaard now. Is he going to be the one to open up this defence of Sporting and get us the goal that it's going to send us through to what would be the quarter-final? And when you're in a quarter-final, you can suddenly start dreaming of big things, can't you, in a competition? But I say, especially when we look at the teams that's left in it, I wouldn't be worried about playing anybody that's left, really. Anyway, almost a counter-attack there from Sporting, but good defensive play, actually, from Gabriel Martinelli. Cut that ball out, but Sporting are back in possession again. We are getting down to that sort of stage now where a goal at either end is probably going to be the winner. Let's be honest, it is. Colonel, how you doing, my friend? Good to see you. He says, don't like half and half squad thing. I get we're pretty much full strength now, but for me, surely in practice, your first team play together and a B team play together. If we don't get through, no, I mean, that's a good point, isn't it? When you mix and match your team, you've got a lot of partnerships generally that don't play together very often. Yeah, they work in training, I'm sure, but yeah, no, I agree. Maybe play either a full first team or a full second team, if you like. I don't think we've quite got enough depth to play a full second team and still expect to be competitive in Europe. I'm not sure if we can do that, actually. So maybe a slightly sort of 50-50 team is how we had to go, really. Probably sensible in a way. But I agree, it will be more than annoying if we go out now having gone to extra time when we're playing on Sunday, 2:00 on Sunday. It's not much turnaround, is it? Yes, we're at home tonight. We're at home Sunday, so there's not a lot of travelling involved. There's no travelling involved, so that's good. But yeah, it isn't ideal, is it, to have extra time? And I say if we do lose now, it would be more than annoying, wouldn't it? And it would take us back to that Olympiacos game. Well, of course, if you remember, after we got knocked out by Olympiacos in the Europa League that year, we did go on and win the FA Cup, didn't we? So we ended up with a trophy. And if we go out tonight and end up with the only other trophy we could potentially win, I'm sure we wouldn't really care too much in the overall scheme of things. But a European trophy is something that's always nice, isn't it? And those of us old enough to remember the last one would quite like another one. Anyway, Arsenal have been in control of the possession in extra time. Trossard actually got a knock. The referee allowed the play to go on because we had possession with Thomas Partey, and Trossard is still limping. He had a quick word with the referee there, but the referee just said to him, look, you had the ball. You've still got the ball. And we have. And we're coming forward again. Martin Odegaard there, but that's a poor pass. And now Sporting Lisbon have got an opportunity for a counter-attack. They've got a lot of pace in this team, Sporting Lisbon, but he held on to the ball a bit too long there, the Sporting Lisbon player, and Arsenal did manage to win it back. We're 6 minutes away from a penalty shootout here at the Emirates, which it would be drama, wouldn't it? So I suppose if nothing else, it's going to give us some great drama to bring you on the channel. Anyway, Granit Xhaka now plays Martinelli in down that near side, Arsenal's left. We're attacking the North Bank in the second half of extra time, as we did in the second half of the 90 minutes as well. But we haven't really looked like scoring since half time and extra time, have we, at all? We haven't really tested the goalkeeper, who's looked a little bit shaky to me, the goalkeeper for Sporting Lisbon. He's not been fantastic, has he? He's been a little bit hit and miss. His handling seems a bit shaky, although he has made one or two half-decent saves, especially that one from Trossard was exceptional, actually. I mean, Arsenal now just playing the ball sideways and not really looking too dangerous at the moment. Ben White, of course, came on for Tomiyasu early in this game. That's a good ball, though. Saka's in behind this time over on that far side. He's just inside the penalty area. Bukayo Saka, is he going to get a cross away? He pulls it back to Trossard inside the penalty. A little back heel. No one quite read it. Martin Odegaard looks frustrated. And Sporting Lisbon cleared that away. Trossard maybe could have tried a shot then. Perhaps he could have done. Mark C says we keep trying these little back heels and flicks. Yeah, it's annoying a little bit, isn't it? He should have had a shot there, Trossard. It fell to him nicely in the box. Just push your foot through it and have a go. Who knows? If you don't go in, it might hit someone. Could be a corner, could be a deflection, anything. Just don't know, do you? And Arsenal got a free kick now. That's quite a bad challenge on Martinelli, actually, through the back of his legs. It could be a yellow card for the Portuguese defender, Esugo. It was there. Oh, that was a very late. Well, through the back of Martinelli there. That's not good, is it? Anyway, Colonel says there. I was at that when we scored. I left. Then they scored from free kick. I think the team couldn't defend set pieces. Was awful. Which game was that? Which game do you mean there? Anyway, I also got a free kick. We're into the last 4 minutes now of extra time. This could be a big moment for Arsenal. If we can get a goal now, I say anything now wins the game. You know, at this point in the game, a goal now wins it. Martin Odegaard with his free kick towards the far post. Header comes in. Oh, that's a great save. Wow, he's just saying about the goalkeeper looking dodgy. That was a fantastic save. It was Gabriel's header. Almost a winning goal there for Arsenal. Great free kick from Martin Odegaard. Whipped it in towards that far post. Gabriel's header. Oh, the goal. He's got a hand to it and tipped it over the bar. That's a fantastic save, you have to say. Brilliant stuff from the goalkeeper there. And I'll say it looked a little bit shaky to me, but he certainly wasn't there. Mark C says, oh, my God, how did he get a glove on that? Hey, it's a great save. And he, I don't know, get a glove on it. He managed to actually push it up over the bar, didn't he? You know, we've got a corner. If anyone's going to win this game before penalties, you do feel it is going to be us. The corner, though, to the far post. There comes another good save from the goalkeeper. Well, he's made a 2 or 3 now, and now Sporting have maybe got a chance for a counter-attack. This could be a dangerous moment over on that far side. They've got a couple of players over here. Sporting, are they going to hit us on the counter-attack? No, they're not, because they didn't make the right choice there. Oh, I mean, I think you meant the Olympiacos game. Yeah, Olympiacos, they had a bunch of 6'6" and 6'7" defenders. No, they were a big cut. They were a big team at Olympiacos. Anyway, the referee is giving out yellow cards for fun. He's just given out a red card actually to a Sporting Lisbon player. I'm not sure who he's giving a red card to actually. Is it an Arsenal player that's been sent off? Not quite sure. We're gonna see. Is it Bukayo Saka? Or is it the Sporting Lisbon player who just fouled Bukayo Saka? You'd imagine that's who it's going to be. Oh, that was a very late challenge, actually. Yeah, number 15, I think it is, for Sporting Lisbon's been sent off. Saka hacked. Red card, indeed. It's Ugarte. Well, it was a second yellow from Ugarte, the defender there for Sporting Lisbon. But that save the goalkeeper made just a minute ago, that is unbelievable, actually. He's made 2 now in extra time, in the second half of extra time. And that will certainly give him a lift, won't it, going into the penalty shootout, if nothing else, won't it? The goalkeeper there. Brilliant save. But anyway, Sporting are now down to 10 men, and they're making a substitution on the back of that red card. There's only a minute and a half of normal time left. Edwards is going off now, and they're bringing on a defender to try and shore up. The defender looks a little bit like Harry Maguire with a perm, actually, the defender who's just come on. Tanlongo, his name is. And he's got a look at Harry Maguire about him, hasn't he? Just with curly hair. But anyway, Arsenal got his free kick just inside the Sporting half. Martin Odegaard with it again. Oh, that's far too long. That was a poor delivery, actually, that time. We're into the last minute of extra time. And it is looking very, very much like we're going to be... I mean, I'll use the term loosely, enjoying a penalty shootout, because you don't really enjoy them, do we? But Colonel says, is Eddie injured? Feel he would have scored here. Needed that fox in the box. Yeah, I don't know. He was injured, wasn't he, a week or 2 ago? Is he still injured? Potentially, he must be. Yeah. But anyway, what can you do? We can only go with the players that we've got. And we are now into the final few seconds here of extra time. Depends how much we're going to get stoppages at the end of this extra period, and we'll see. Otherwise, it will be a penalty shootout very, very shortly. We're going to have who do we think is going to take the penalties in? That's going to be quite interesting. We've not had many penalties, have we, in the Premier League this season? Is it only 2 or 3? Maybe 2 we've had, haven't we? Obviously, Saka's been taking them. You'd imagine Saka will obviously take one. Be the first penalties he would have had to have taken in a penalty shootout since, of course, that final of the Euros. Wow, what a big moment it will be for him. Who else do we think will take him? I don't know. We'll have to see. Anyway, Mark C says, last chance free kick. Yeah, it is. It's Aaron Ramsdale going to take this. It's about 15 yards inside the Arsenal half on his near side. He's just got to launch it towards the edge of the box, hasn't he? And let's hope for the best, really. Everybody's in a line over on that far side. Ramsdale does launch it towards the edge of the penalty area. Arsenal get ahead on it. But we don't really get it away. It comes to Thomas Partey out to that far side. Bukayo Saka it is. Twisting and turning, trying to find a cross, finds Martin Odegaard, plays the ball into the box. Oh, the goalkeeper's there again. And another save from him. And it's going to, well, they've put a minute of stoppage time, which we've almost played now. So it is looking like penalties, guys. Stay with us because penalties are going to be coming up. Whether it's going to be good or bad, we'll have to wait and see. And who do we think is going to take these penalties? And I say Saka, obviously. I think Trossard might have one. Odegaard, potentially, you'd say. Martinelli, he scored a couple of penalties for us, hasn't he? Can't remember now who else might take. Well, there we go. It is full time then. We have got coming up penalty shootout here at the Emirates. Arsenal against Sporting for a place in the quarterfinals. It's going to go down to penalties. It is going to be exciting. So stay with us for it. What I'll do actually is I'll put the score on here because I didn't actually put the score on, did I? Before, which well, I wasn't intending on doing any kind of I wasn't intending on doing any sort of commentary or anything. I thought the game would be over and we'd just be talking about the game. But anyway, we shall see what's going to happen. This penalty shootout is coming up for you very, very shortly. It's going to be exciting. And we are going to enjoy the penalty shootout, if nothing else. Let's see if we can make it through. So it's finished 1-1 on the night after extra time, 3-3 on aggregate. Colonel says there, ironic we lost to Olympiacos on away goals. Then here we would have won on away goals, but they scrapped it. Yeah, I mean, we've gone out, haven't we, on away goals a few times. I remember Bayern Munich one year, was it Monaco as well? We went out on away goals, didn't we, in the Champions League? So we've suffered away goals, and this time, like you said, we would have won, and they scrapped them. I'm personally glad they scrapped them. You know, regardless of this game, I'm personally glad they scrapped away goals. I thought it was totally ridiculous. Goal's a goal. No goal should be worth more than any other goal, and you should have to score more goals than the others. Martin Odegaard just put his hand up there, so he's obviously volunteered for a penalty. So fair play to the captain. Should step forward. Just want to wonder who's gone off. I mean, Jesus would have probably took one if he'd been on. So we'll see. Mark C says in we should have this. We should have the fellas to do this. Let's see. Mark C says Mark Odegaard to bang one in. Well, yeah, potentially. Let's see who's going to take him. You'd imagine Saka will, Xhaka probably, Martinelli, Odegaard. Not sure who else. Maybe Trossard. We'll have to see. We're soon going to find out anyway because we're just about to. You're just about to enjoy the penalty shootout with us here, and it is going to be very, very tense and exciting. Probably, I'm not a massive fan of penalty shootouts. But no, I'll rephrase that. I am a fan of penalty shootouts, just not when it involves my team. You know, we've seen England suffer, haven't we, in tournaments on penalties loads of times. Very, very stressful. Although Arsenal have got a reasonably good record in penalty shootouts, haven't we? I remember one in the Champions League against Roma that we won. That was a tense one, wasn't it? There was Wigan in the FA Cup semi-final, wasn't there, that we won on penalties. So we've won some penalty shootouts. I remember going back even a bit further, the FA Cup at Sheffield United. I remember winning a penalty shootout there in a replay in the FA Cup. I can't remember too many that Arsenal have lost, actually. I'm just trying to think off the top of my head. When was the last time Arsenal lost a penalty shootout? I shouldn't really say that, should I? We were just about to have one, but I'm trying to think, actually. I'm not too sure. I can remember, as I say, I remember us winning a few. There was that one against Rotherham I mentioned before at Highbury. And this may well be the Emirates Stadium's first ever penalty shootout. If anyone can confirm that, I've got a feeling it might well be. I certainly can't remember one at the Emirates. There's been some extra time at the Emirates, some late drama at the Emirates, but never, I don't think, a penalty shootout. But we're just about to see which end they're going to be taking them at. Are they going to be taking them at the North Bank or the clock end where the Sporting fans are in that corner? Is that an advantage? What end you take the penalties at? I'm not sure. I don't know. Sometimes if you're taking it in front of your own fans, sometimes there's a bit more pressure on you, isn't there, maybe? Anyway, the referee's been speaking to the Arsenal coaching staff there. I'm not quite sure what's gone on. I can't remember this referee's name. He's a very, very famous referee in Europe, isn't he? He's if you remember him from the Champions League, from European Championships and stuff like that, he's a very famous face in refereeing circles. And yeah, we'll have to see. Marcy says there won the FA Cup. Yeah, many we did. I was at that game at the Millennium Stadium. That was fantastic, wasn't it? The game was terrible. We were awful, but we won on penalty, so we'll take it all day long, won't we? We've got the other mark in. Mark Dalzell says, man, firstly, work. You were correct. No big deal if we win or lose penalties. Let's just stay well, plus mentally focused and cool, calm, and collected. Yeah, I mean, I want us to win now. We've got this far. We've played 120 minutes of football. We've had one or two little injury problems. We haven't played particularly well. They're going to be at the clock end. The penalties are going to be at the clock end where the Sporting. Well, obviously half of it's Arsenal fans and half of it's Sporting fans on the lower tier. Is that an advantage to Sporting? We'll see soon, won't we? United edit said, the penalties on yet? They're just about to start, my friend. They are just about to start. The two goalkeepers are just being spoken to by the referee. Was he the referee? He was in the World Cup, this referee, wasn't he? Mark says, we've always achieved more than expected this season. Yeah, that's true. Colonel says, if we lose, Arteta's cup competition records are very poor part by the FA Cup in 3-4. Well, it is, yeah, really poor. I mean, we did get to the semi-final of the Europa League. Anyway, Sporting are going first, which tends to suggest to me that Arsenal pick tens. Well, that's how it works, isn't it? So Arsenal have actually chosen to have the penalties at the clock end. So maybe they feel as though the Sporting fans there might add more pressure to their players. But they are going first. Sporting are just about to take the first penalty here at the Emirates. It's their number 3, St Justin, who is going to go first. The manager's just sitting on the bench. Aaron Ramsdale facing this in yellow. And it's gone in the top corner. Good penalty from Sporting there, from St Justice there. Gives Sporting the lead from the penalty spot. It is 1-0 in the shootout to Sporting Lisbon. So they get the perfect start. Who's up first for Arsenal? Will it be Saka, who's our main penalty taker? If it's going to be Martin Ødegaard, the captain, going first, not shying away from responsibility, as that's what you want to see from your captain, don't you? Martin Ødegaard steps up. But a little bit of pressure now, isn't it? When you go second and you're behind, a little bit of pressure, because if he doesn't score this, then Sporting will have a great chance to go 2 up, won't they? So really big penalty this for Martin Ødegaard. Can he stick it away? Usually a good finisher, isn't he? Martin Ødegaard takes a penalty left-footed into the corner. It's there. It's 1-1. Arsenal have equalised in the penalty shootout, and we've got more drama to come. Who's going to be next for Sporting Lisbon? A very good penalty that for Martin Ødegaard. Sent the keeper the wrong way, strokes it into that bottom right-hand corner there with his left foot. Really, really good penalty. Cool penalty under pressure. So it's 1-1 in the shootout, and it's going to be Estágio coming up now, number 47 for Sporting, to put them back in front. Aaron Ramsdale, can he produce a save here? It's going to be another penalty in. Oh, that's another good penalty in the corner. Ramsdale went the right way, but he couldn't get near it. Well struck penalty, that one. He went to Aaron Ramsdale's left, although Ramsdale kind of went the right way. He was never going to keep that out. It was a good penalty, actually, tucked away. And Sporting lead 2-1 after 2 penalties to them. Who's going next for Arsenal? It is Bukayo Saka. Bukayo Saka. Please don't miss back, because, you know, what happened in the shootout, the last shootout you was in, please don't miss this one. Really big penalty this for Arsenal. Big moment for Bukayo Saka. He's been so cool from the penalty spot, hasn't he? Scored every single one for Arsenal since that Euros final. Can he put this one away to make it 2-2? Bukayo Saka for Arsenal to level it up in the shootout. Bukayo Saka left-footed, sends the keeper the wrong way. Brilliant penalty from Bukayo Saka into that bottom left-hand corner. What a great penalty that was. Brilliantly tucked away. Cool as you like. And again, the keeper dives the wrong way. He didn't maybe hit that as cleanly as he would have wanted to, actually, but it doesn't matter because it's gone in. The keeper went the other way. In it goes, bang, and it is 2-2. Wow. So Sporting up next. Can they regain the lead? Or will Aaron Ramsdale make a save in this shootout? He had a decent game, didn't he, Aaron Ramsdale, tonight? He needs to save a penalty here. Our Sporting will go back in front. We get into the big stage of this shootout now. He saved it. Oh, not quite. He got a hand to it, Ramsdale. Feels he should have saved that, and it was quite close to him. Wasn't struck that well. It didn't appear to be. Again, it was to Ramsdale's left. In fact, Ramsdale got both hands to it, couldn't keep it out. Actually, I suppose it was pretty well placed. And Aaron Ramsdale couldn't quite keep that out. It's gone into the corner. It's 3-2 to Sporting. It's Trossard next. I felt Trossard may well take one, and he is. He's coming up third for Arsenal. This is a big moment, isn't it now? We're getting to that part of the penalty shootout when any miss now is vital, isn't it? Crucial. So come on, Tross, stick it away, my son. Let's make it 3-3. It's our first right-footed penalty of the night. It's going to be, by the look of it, from Leandro Trossard. Oh, just gets it there underneath the goalkeeper. Very similar to the last penalty. Went the same way. The goalkeeper dived the right way this time. Oh, he got a hand to it as well, but it went underneath him. It is 3-3, and it's very exciting. It wasn't well placed, that penalty, just underneath the goalkeeper. It was a bit lucky there, Trossard, actually, to put that one in. But we'll take it. And Sporting up next. We are now into, it's virtually sudden death really now, isn't it? We're into that kind of part now. It's Arturo now who's going to take this penalty for Sporting Lisbon. There hasn't been a miss yet. Is this going to be the moment? Will Aaron Ramsdale make the first save of the shootout here? It is 3-3. This is a big moment. Sporting now with this penalty. Oh, again, it's gone just underneath Ramsdale. Some of these penalties haven't been that great, but they found their target, and Sporting now lead 4-3. The next penalty for Arsenal is absolutely crucial, isn't it? Because if Arsenal don't score, then they just need to get their next one in. It's going to be Gabriel Martinelli. He scored a couple of penalties for Arsenal, hasn't he, in his career at Arsenal? So he knows how to find the net. I think he'll score, personally. He's reliable from the spot, isn't he, Gabby Martinelli, the young Brazilian. He needs to score as well. It is 4-3 to Sporting Lisbon in this shootout. Martinelli now to bring us level. This is a big, big penalty for Arsenal. Gabriel Martinelli. Oh, it's saved. It wasn't a great penalty. Too close to the goalkeeper, slightly to his left. He guessed right. Wasn't a great penalty from Martinelli at all. And suddenly Arsenal on the brink now of going out. If Sporting score their next penalty, they're through. Because Arsenal only have one left and they'll be two ahead. Not a great penalty from Martinelli, that at all. It wasn't. It was far too close to the goalkeeper. Gave him the chance to make the save, and he did. And Sporting now score this one, and they're through. They lead 4-3. This is their last penalty. And Arsenal have only got one left. Ramsdale's got to save this to keep us in it. Or Sporting go through. It's now or never for Aaron Ramsdale. The penalty comes in. He scored. Sporting are through. Arsenal are out of the Europa League. Marcy maybe sums up all our feelings there. Sporting players go to celebrate with their fans in that corner behind the goal at the clock end. Just that one miss, and it proved to be the important miss. It was Gabriel Martinelli. It was saved. It wasn't a good penalty. The 2 or 3 before from both teams kind of were lucky to go in maybe, but they did. They all went in, and Arsenal have gone out of the Europa League in the same stage they did 3 years ago. Mikel Arteta's early stages of his Arsenal management career. This time it's on penalties. That was in extra time. And despite leading tonight at half-time, Granit Xhaka's goal, Arsenal have gone out on penalties. It started well for us in the penalty shootout, didn't it? Ødegaard and Saka, really good penalties they were. But after that, it all went a bit wrong. And Arsenal have now gone out. We've got United edits in the chat there. I'm a United fan. My friend is an Arsenal fan, so I'm going to really annoy him. No, I don't annoy him. He's going to be feeling sad, feel a bit sorry for him. But obviously, you've got a great chance now of going on and winning the Europa League. Now we're out of the way. We're probably the only team that you probably feared to draw in the competition, wasn't you, going forward? So I suppose now you're probably going to go on and win it, I expect. But anyway, so it was 5-3 on penalties in the end, which wasn't what we wanted, was it, unfortunately? But there you go. So there's a few Arsenal fans I know wasn't bothered about the Europa League. I think you could tell the manager was bothered with the selections that he made, the substitutions that he made. You could see the players on that pitch, they wanted to win that game tonight. We perhaps wasn't quite good enough tonight. I didn't think, Sporting had the better chances. Mark says, as a Kiwi, a rugby country, I'm proud of Arsenal. Great future ahead. Summer signs. No, I agree. I do think we've got a great future ahead. Absolutely right. It's just frustrating, isn't it, to go out of any competition. United said you still have the Prem. Well, we do at the minute. Yeah, of course we do. And that obviously will make up for this, won't it? Of course it will. Mohammed says there, who won Arsenal or Sporting? It was Sporting have just won on penalties. They won 5-3 on penalties there. Just that one miss for Arsenal. And that's the European dream over for another season. We just can't seem to win a European trophy, can we? We just can't seem to do it. For whatever reason, I don't know. It's something in our history, isn't it? We've just never quite managed to win European trophies over just 2 in our whole career. It's not really enough, is it, for a club of our size? We should be winning more. We should have won more European trophies. We've lost a lot of finals, but we won't even get to a final this year. We are out of the Europa League. It has finished at the Emirates. Arsenal won. Sporting won on the night, 3-3 on aggregate, but Sporting have just won at the penalty shootout, 5-3. It was Gabriel Martinelli, the only miss actually in the shootout. We didn't get to take our 5th one in the end. I don't know who was down to take it, maybe Granit Xhaka, but Gabriel Martinelli it was, had his effort saved, and Sporting scored all 5 of theirs and have gone through to the quarterfinals. Good luck to them in the rest of the competition. They look a good side. They played some good football over the 2 legs, didn't they? They got some exciting players. And the goal tonight from Gonzalez, a 40-yard chip that brought Sporting level in the second half, was a goal worthy of winning a tie. It didn't win this one in the end, but it was a fantastic goal. And yeah, maybe Sporting perhaps were a better team over the 2 legs, probably just about shaded it. Not much in it really, but so that's our European run over then. I mean, I don't know. The team selection tonight, I say I wasn't completely unexpected by it. But yeah, we looked a little bit disjointed at times. We were much better when we brought on the first team players like Ødegaard and Partey and Saka and the guys that were rested. We did look a lot better. It wasn't quite enough though, was it? And it's Sporting that have gone through. But yeah, I mean, disappointing to go out of the competition at this point. I say, especially after playing extra time, you put that much into a game, you want to go through, don't you? And unfortunately, we haven't. But we can throw everything instead at Sunday now. It makes the Premier League even more important now, doesn't it? I think at the back of my mind, I kept thinking that, okay, if it so happens to fall apart in the Premier League, we've still got the Europa League to fall back on. We still have a trophy to go for, keeps the season alive. But now that's it. Everything that's all on, all or nothing was the name of that documentary last season, wasn't it? And for Arsenal now, it's all or nothing, isn't it? In the Premier League now, so only chance to win something. And there's no doubt the team this season deserves to win a trophy. The football that we've played, how consistent we've been, we do deserve to win a trophy, but it doesn't always work like that, does it? I'd love to have won this trophy, I really would have done. Rajendra says, hi, Rich. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're well. He says, it was, as you said, disjointed. Yeah, and we made the point a bit earlier. I think it was Mark made the point that, or was it? I know. I think it was Colonel made the point that, if you're mix and matching your team, it's going to become disjointed because you've got players who aren't used to playing together very often. So you either play a full strength team or a reserve team. That was the suggestion. I don't know. I just don't think we're quite strong enough to do that. But yeah, I mean, if we win the Premier League, we won't really care about this, will we? Let's be honest. We won't care about this at all. At the moment, it's frustrating. It's very frustrating. But anyway, we're out. We've got Ashley says there, Arsenal at its peak after many years, still no trophies, and you don't deserve a trophy. It still plays it. Well, I mean, I think we do deserve a trophy because I think that the football that we've played, the consistency that we've had, the number of points we've accumulated in the Premier League. At this moment in time, we've been the best team in the league with 5 points clear at the top, so we do deserve it. But yes, we haven't played the full season yet, and it's where you finish at the end, isn't it, that matters. So yes, we've got no trophy yet, but how many trophies this season have been handed out? Just that one, the Carabao Cup, which Manchester United won. That's the only one that's been handed out, and we're still in a massive big chance of winning the big one. So let's see what happens. Let's hang fire. Don't start, don't get us yet. Wait until the end of the season, see where we are. And if we've won the league, we will certainly enjoy it. There's no doubt about that. Regenda says they need to play together a lot more. Yeah, they do. Yeah. Regenda says, who do you support? Actually, I think he was a Man United fan, if I'm honest. That's my guess, but we'll see. Definitely not a Tottenham fan talking about trophies. There's no doubt he's definitely not a Chelsea fan. Tottenham fan, sorry. But yeah, I mean, they do need to play together a lot more. And I did feel a little bit that Tommy Asu's injury maybe was because he's not playing enough. And yeah, it's something that we need to look at. But maybe the reason why we've perhaps seen it when some of these players have played. I think we've seen the reason why they're not playing as much because they're not quite as good as the first team players. And you saw that tonight when they all came on, Partey, Saka, Ødegaard, these guys, when they all came on, we looked a much better team. And that's why these other guys aren't playing as often as they want to play. And when they do play, they're not quite at it, are they? And it is an issue. But what we can do about it at this moment in time, we're going for the league. We have to play our strongest available team in every single game now, don't we? We've got no more distractions. That's maybe one thing we can look at. So we'll see. Regenda says there, we were the team of the 30s, Liverpool the 70s and 80s. Yeah, and Man United the team of the 90s, obviously. We were maybe the team of the early 2000s as well, weren't we? With the Invincibles and whatnot. As she says, a Liverpool home game pending, Chelsea game pending, City game pending for Arsenal. That's why it's going to be a difficult run for the Premier League. No, it is, but everybody's got to play difficult games because every game in the Premier League is a difficult game. So everybody's got tough games to play, haven't they? Man City have got tough games to play. Yes, we've got tough games. I agree. We've got to play City away, Liverpool away, Newcastle away, West Ham away. Difficult games. We've got some tricky home games as well. Crystal Palace on Sunday won't be easy now, certainly will it? So no, I agree. We've got tough games, but whoever wins the league at the end of the season has done it by winning tough games because they're tough games in the Premier League. That's the way it is. Regina says, we broke them before Man United were able to take them. Yeah, we did. Yeah, that always annoyed me, that Regina, actually, that in the 1980s under George Graham, we ended that Liverpool domination, didn't we? We beat them in that League Cup final. Then I think that Anfield game really had a massive impact on Liverpool. Yes, the Hillsborough disaster earlier on that season did as well. But I do feel as though we ended Liverpool's domination and we should have gone on from that early 90s period. We should have gone on and dominated the 90s, but we let Man United take that instead and the start of the Premier League, and they won all them titles that we should have won. And yeah, maybe a missed opportunity, perhaps a little bit for us not to go on and win a few more trophies in the 1990s. But we've done all right for ourselves, haven't we? We haven't had a bad run, and it's been obviously disappointing in recent years. But we are definitely on the way back. And the age of this squad, with some additions, the right additions in the summer, I see no reason why we can't go on and have a really good spell now of consistently challenging for trophies. You can never say you're definitely going to win them. You can't. Nobody's got a right to win anything, have they? But we certainly have got the squad now to go on and challenge regularly now for all the trophies over the next few years, and that's all we can hope for as fans. That's what we want to see. We want to enjoy these moments, challenging for titles, challenging in cup competitions, and hopefully winning the odd trophy here and there as well, which would be great, wouldn't it? Regina says the Premier League were able to use their money to get top players. Man United, yeah, but they had to buy the rest to win. Well, that's certainly something that we've all thought about quite a lot over the years. Maybe they did, but yeah, we missed opportunity for Arsenal back then, maybe. But anyway, I say we've done all right out of it, haven't we? We've had some great memories and some great moments. And yeah, it's been a good ride, hasn't it? And it's more to come, maybe more to come in May this season still, because maybe this defeat tonight might end up being a blessing in disguise. But anyway, Regina says there, pity we were not in Italy. In Italy when? Well, what's happened in Italy? Oh, you mean in the final? Well, yeah, but anyway, don't worry about that. We'll win the Premier League, man. That's more important, isn't it? Let's win the Premier League. But anyway, we're out of the Europa League, so we can forget that for another season. But But we'll see what happens. But no, I mean, it was. We probably didn't quite do enough to win this game tonight, did we? Sporting. I mean, they just showing that goal again. It was an incredible goal, wasn't it? That chip. But anyway, it wasn't to be tonight for Arsenal, and the performance probably didn't deserve it either. I say the team changes didn't help. We were disjointed. We never really got our passing going as we have done so consistently in the Premier League, and we've been made to pay. We've been knocked out of the Europa League, which is, I say, frustrating. But let's put that behind us now. You know, we've got a massive game now on Sunday. A short turnaround. We know that's happens in the Europa League, and maybe it's not such a bad thing that we're out. And maybe some of these games they might rearrange some of the games now as well, mightn't they? Without us having to be in the Thursday night league anymore. And of course, next season we should be in the Champions League, and I'm sure we will be. So we've got some big European nights to come, haven't we, next season, and hopefully beyond that as well. Should be a good spell for us now in Europe, hopefully. And who knows, maybe we can win the European Champions League at some stage or other. But Mikel Arteta's record in Europe isn't great, is it? That's a little bit of a concern. But you know, we'll put this competition to bed and we'll focus on Sunday, which isn't going to be easy, is it? You know, Crystal Palace struggling. They lost last night again. Patrick Vieira's under pressure, isn't he, to keep his job? I'm not quite sure what Crystal Palace expect. I don't know what their fans expect, what the club expects. You know, to survive in the Premier League, it's got to be the aim every single season for Crystal Palace, because that's what they are. That's the club they are. And, you know, Patrick Vieira may well be, and I do believe he's a great manager, and I think he's got the potential to be a really good manager, but he's at Crystal Palace, and they're not a club that are going to do anything other than try and survive in the Premier League. And I'm sure they will this season. I don't think they'll go down. When you look at the teams around them, there's a lot worse teams than them. I'm not worried that they'll go down, but yeah, I mean, it's a tough time for Vieira, isn't it, Patrick Vieira? And you know, I don't think any of us enjoy seeing him struggling. And you know, he's such a legend, isn't he? I still think he's one of Arsenal's greatest ever players ever. He's certainly the greatest midfield player of the modern era by an absolute mile. No one can touch him. You know, people talk about Roy Keane. No, I'm sorry. Patrick Vieira as a player was head and shoulders above Roy Keane, head and shoulders above anybody else that's ever played in midfield in the Premier League era, certainly, and even before that. I mean, he's one of the greatest players ever. He's one of Arsenal's greatest players ever. And, you know, I don't think any of us want to see him struggling, and he is struggling. But ultimately, we've got for 90 minutes on Sunday, or 95 minutes, wherever it is on Sunday, we've got to put that sentiment behind us. And if by us beating them, it means he's one step closer to losing his job, then unfortunately, sorry, Pat. You know, we love you, but that's the price that we'll have to, you know, we'll be prepared to take to get those 3 points, which is so important. We've got a chance to get 8 points clear, because Man City aren't playing this weekend in the Premier League. 8 points clear we can be on Sunday. That's how big this game is. You know, with 10 games to go after that. Wow. So, but yeah, obviously, I don't want to see Patrick Vieira succeed. What that means at Crystal Palace to me is staying in the Premier League that they did last year, and they're probably going to do this year. I don't know. I just feel that that the club need to understand where they are and what's success for them. And you know, hopefully, though, what may have happened, and we're not seeing too much of it yet, but I think what Arsenal have done, and what Arsenal did with Arteta in backing him and sticking with him when things wasn't going well, that maybe is a lesson for some other clubs who may be tempted to sack a manager after a few bad results. And maybe what Arsenal have done could, you know, I certainly think if Arsenal win the Premier League this season, I think that will be a real message to other club owners and chairmen to say, you know what, if you employ a manager, at the time you take him on, you've got to believe in him, haven't you? Because you've employed him in that job, you've paid him a lot of money, and you've got to believe in them. If you believe in them, you've got to invest in them. You've got to give them what they want, and you've got to back them. And it's not necessarily always going to be successful straight away, because that's not how it works, is it? You know, I think depending on different clubs have got different ambitions and they're in a different situation. But, you know, we've seen it too often, haven't we? Managers get sacked quickly, very, very quickly. In some teams' cases, Watford spring to mind, Chelsea, of course, as we know. And Arsenal have never really done that much, have we? I mean, it was a shock in a way when we sacked Unai Emery quite quickly. When you look at in history, we haven't really done that, have we? But the fact that we have now stuck with Arteta, it could well be other clubs may well look at that and think maybe that's what we need to do. Pick a manager that we can believe in, that we can back, and give them time and give them investment, give them the players that they want, and who knows, maybe they can succeed as well. I mean, how long do you give it? I suppose that's the other question, isn't it? As well. But there you go. Henry says this one really hurts. Yeah, it does. I've got to answer it. I love European. I'd love to win a European trophy again. Love to, but it's not going to be this year, is it? It definitely isn't. We've got some difficult games in April, haven't we? Liverpool away, West Ham away, Southampton at home, Man City away, between the 9th of April and the 26th of April. That's where we win the league or lose the league, isn't it? In those games. We've got Crystal Palace and Leeds before those as well. That's a big time, isn't it? Really big time. And Martin Odegaard is having a little chat now. Let's listen what he's got to say.
But most of the game we weren't on the level we should be. So I think part of the game we did well, but throughout the whole game we didn't play our best football. So it was a tight game in the end. So could have gone both ways.
Give any credit to the opponents. Obviously, they've come in. Not many teams have beat you at the Emirates today, but it's an audacious lob. It's an inspired goalkeeping performance as well. How hard did they make it for you?
Yeah, they're a good team. We knew that. We knew their qualities, and we were prepared. So, but I think it was more about us today. We didn't put in the energy maybe we normally do. So that's disappointing. But now we have to look forward and just get ready for Sunday. That's all now.
How do you ensure that this doesn't derail your title efforts? Because it's a huge disappointment. How do you pick yourselves up again?
We have to remember it's been a great season. We've done amazing things this year, and it's a big blow to go out of this competition. It was a big goal for us, but we have to look forward now. We have to look for Sunday. Just come back strong and make sure we finish well in the league. That's the only thing we can do now.
Gabriel Martinelli having a great season. Obviously, to step up and take a penalty is always the chance that you might miss. What do the team need to do to get around him and make sure that he feels like he's not forgiven, but he can move on from that?
We win and lose together. It doesn't matter. Everyone, when we're winning, everyone is happy. You know, when we lose, we have to pick up the spirit and keep going. You know, we win and lose together. That's all. So yeah, nothing more.
Thank you very much.
Cheers. Thank you.
He does speak well, doesn't he, Martin Odegaard? You know, I'm still not convinced he's the most natural captain in this squad. I think we all know who he is. But to be fair, he speaks well. He's a very, very intelligent guy. He's a great player. And it could turn out to be a masterstroke in the end by Mikel Arteta to have made him captain. He certainly spoke well there, didn't he? And he's right. We wasn't quite good enough on the night. Probably over the 2 games, actually, if you're honest, to go through. And we haven't done. And yeah, the focus now has got to be on the Premier League, hasn't it? We have got a great opportunity. But we've seen it too many times. Hang on, Mikel Arteta actually speaking. Let's listen to him.
No, because we haven't won it. Huge blow, obviously. There were moments, especially in the first 75 minutes, that we were on our level. We gave every single ball away, and we didn't have the capacity to dominate the game and take the game where we want it. It's true that in the last 15 minutes we had the chances and the extra time, the chances to win it. And when it goes down to the penalties, then it's a lot of uncertainty, and we lost it.
What problems did Sporting specifically put on you today? Was it similar as well to the first leg? They caused a lot of problems for you tonight.
No, I think it was a very different game.
How was it a difficult game? What challenges did they force on you tonight?
Well, especially that we didn't win enough duels when we have them in certain spaces. They are really good at attacking those poaches and second line runs, and we didn't put the ball under pressure well enough to do that. And then every time we could regain the ball in really dangerous areas, we give it away. And we get with the ball consistently, and then that created a really open transition game that we didn't want to play.
How much did it upset your game plan, those forced early changes with Tomiyasu coming off?
That happened. It happened with Tommy, it happened with Saliba, and then we are really restricted to do the changes because we only have one window to do them and only one sub left. But we have to accommodate that. I think the team got better and better with the changes, especially the last 50 minutes of the 90 of the full time, and then we had big chances to finish it off, but we didn't do it.
How do you got so much to play for? How do you reset for the Premier League campaign now? How do you pick yourselves up again?
Nothing, just look at ourselves, what we've done and what we weren't good enough to go through. Congratulate Sporting, and after that now we have 11 games, and the first one is Palace, which is a final, and every word that we spend right now, it has to be towards Palace, be better than today to beat the game.
Mikel, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks to Mikel.
Yeah, I mean, he's right, isn't he? I mean, yeah, we've got 11 cup finals, as he says, and let's see if we can win enough of them. I mean, 10 wins in those 11 games wins us the league, doesn't it? But we saw it before, haven't we? You know, and I know this is a different Arsenal team, but I can remember when Arsene Wenger was manager, lots of seasons where we got knocked out of the Champions League, and we then struggled in the league after that to regain our form again. And it's a big period coming up. You know, we went through some of them games that we've got to play in April. You know, it's a big time. We have to recover from this quickly. We have to put this disappointment behind us, and we have to bounce back and win on Sunday. It's so important. And it would worry me now if we don't beat Crystal Palace. What happens after that? You know, is that going to be? Are the wheels going to fall off? Maybe I don't know, but it's so important now on Sunday. We have to win that game, and then we win that game, and we forget this, and it's like, well, move on, move forward, and let's crack on with the rest of the season. But yeah, we've struggled in the past when we've lost in Europe, haven't we, to get over that. And I know this is different; it's a different set of circumstances, but it's important that we bounce back on Sunday straight away. We have to. We've got a comment here from Steve. He says, "We are jokers. Stop disappointing fans." Oh, that's a little bit harsh, isn't it? I mean, it was the lesser of the two competitions. Yes, I wanted to win it. I did, and I'm disappointed that we've gone out. Magenda says, Saliba and Tomiyasu, hopefully they will get better by Sunday. Yeah, hopefully. Mark C says, remains to be seen what kind of bearing it might have. Fingers crossed, no new beginnings. Yeah, exactly. I mean, at this moment in time, we don't know how they're going to respond. We have to wait till Sunday. We'll see. And hopefully it's a good response. We come back, win that game, and then I say no one will be that bothered, will they? So the team through to the quarterfinals: Sevilla, Juventus, Sporting Lisbon, Roma, Feyenoord, Man United, Bayer Leverkusen, and Union Berlin. Looking at that, what a chance we had to have won this competition. Makes it worse, actually, looking at the teams that are still in it. You know, I wouldn't have had any issue playing any of them teams, drawing any of them teams. I think we could have beaten all of them. But unfortunately, we couldn't beat Sporting Lisbon. And that is what mattered in the end. Colonel says, that was annoying, and players proved tonight they're not exempt from injury. Some of the second string are like holding Vieira, etc., and the backup goalkeeper. Yeah, I mean, I think we've known this, though, haven't we, for quite some time. And even players like Jorginho, who I thought has been a good signing, you could see the level drop without Thomas Partey in the team, you know. And yeah, it's disappointing, but there's nothing we can do now. Mark C says, who knows, might work out in our favour. Yeah, it might well work out in our favour. It might do. One less distraction, I suppose. The Thursday night games, we don't have that quick turnaround playing on a Sunday. So yeah, it might well do us a favour. But you're right, we don't know yet, do we? Let's see how we respond and how we recover, because we have to respond quickly. We have to, because we've got, there's no time to feel sorry for ourselves. We've got to win on Sunday, and that's it. And yeah, we've got to be ready for that game. And I'm sure we will be. I'm sure we will be, but let's wait and see. So yeah, it's been a disappointing night, hasn't it? Going out of Europe always hurts, because that's the one thing that everybody's always got against us is that other clubs fans can say our record in Europe so bad, and it is. You know, it is. We need to get better. We need to improve our European trophy cabinet, don't we? We need to add some more in there over the next few years, and let's hope that we will. But it's not going to be this year, that's for certain. Sporting Lisbon have won 5-3 on penalties after extra time, following a 1-1 draw tonight, 3-3 on aggregate. Yes, we would have gone through on away goals the year that they cancelled them, but I never liked away goals anyway. You know, this is the right way. If it's a draw in the 2 games or both draws, it's a tie on aggregate. Have penalties. That's it. It should always have been like that. Anyway, we shall see. Marcy says, I think it's good we've got a game coming. So, well, of course, yeah, it's good that we've got a game. We have to win it, though. Otherwise, it won't be so good if we don't. Colonel says, I put Tierney at right back and White at centre half with Tommy and Saliba not fit. Don't want to see Holding. No, we don't want to see Holding, certainly not. Mark C says, last time to linger and think about tonight, screw up, less time to... Oh, yeah, you're right, yeah. Although Crystal Palace have got a very good record at the Emirates, haven't they? We've not beaten them for last 4 visits that they've had to the Emirates. We've not beaten them. So it's one of them sort of... They've been a bit of a bogey team, haven't they, for us in recent years? At home, certainly. Away, we've won some good wins away at Selhurst Park, but at the Emirates, we've not won there since 2018. Last time we beat Crystal Palace at the Emirates. So not a great team historically to be playing at this moment. Rajendra says Holding was keeping defensive skills there. It's just his long passing skills that are not as good. Also needs. Midfield was poor. So no, midfield was poor today. Yeah, you're right. I mean, Rob Holding's Rob Holding, isn't he? He's good at certain things, which is, you know, one-on-one defending he's pretty good at, isn't he? He's not bad in the air. But the way that we play now, all our defenders have got to be comfortable on the ball, and he's not, is he? Bless him. And he's got his limitations, and his limitations are clear. And yeah, we wouldn't want to see Rob Holding have to play too many games between now and the end of the season. The problem is, yeah, normally you'd say, well, put Ben White in at centre back. Not a problem with Saliba out, but without Tomiyasu to play right back, I don't think Kieran Tierney can play right back, if I'm honest. I'm just not sure if he would. That'd be a good position for him to play. I'm just not sure if it would. But we'll see. Hopefully Saliba's fit, and then it's not an issue, is it? But these are problems that happen. You know, players can get injured any time. You know, people say, oh, it's because of the Europa League, blah, blah, blah. But players get injured in training. Jesus got injured at the World Cup. So, you know, you can get injured anywhere. You've got to try to play your strongest team as much as possible, and then you've got your best chance of winning games. And winning games leads to confidence and momentum and all those kind of things, which is so important in football. You know, when you're winning games, you go out every game you expect to win. And that can change so quickly with a defeat. We saw before, didn't we? 4 games we went without winning, didn't we? When we lost to Everton. And it can happen so quickly. So Colonel says, I agree, his defensive work is good, but can't play out from the back with him and booting long ball to Jesus. Well, no, you're right. His limitations are there. And if we're going to progress as a team, Rob Holding isn't going to be part of it, is he? Bless him. We love Rob Holding, but he's just not good enough. But yeah, I mean, all that matters now is Sunday. We've got to bounce back on Sunday. We've got to. There's no doubt. And I'm sure we will. I expect us to beat Crystal Palace, even though it's difficult when you've played a Europa League game. It's difficult when you've lost and you've got to lift yourself again. But I'm sure we will. I'm sure we'll win that game on Sunday. Might be scrappy. It might not be pretty. But I think we'll just about do it. And then hopefully that can then start us back on a run again. I mean, we're in a good run in the Premier League anyway. 5 wins in a row. Let's keep it going. But it certainly won't be easy, will it? So, but let's see how it goes. Let's see what happens. But tonight was a disappointment. But let's be honest, I think pretty much every single Arsenal fan out there would take this defeat tonight if it means we go on and win the Premier League, and I certainly would. So, not that that's going to be a foregone conclusion. Not that that's going to be easy, because it won't be. But anyway, let's see what happens on Sunday. So yeah, that's that tonight. I say not quite the show I was planning. I was planning just to have a little chat about the game and the performance, but in the end, with extra time and penalties, we stuck with it. We went with that, and it was good fun in the end. Even though the result didn't quite go our way, it was something different to give you, wasn't it? Some different coverage. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give us a like, of course. Consider subscribing as well if you're new here. Why not subscribe? It's all good fun. We do cover the Arsenal women as well as the Arsenal men, and with that in mind, tomorrow evening we've got our usual Arsenal Women's Weekly show at 7:30. We've got the normal guys joining us, Andreas, Amar, hopefully Matt, if he's around, or he might have to send us some videos in. That show's on at 7:30 tomorrow. We'll be looking back on that brilliant victory last week against Reading. And of course, next to midweek is Champions League. So, forget, the men are out of Europe. It's disappointing, but the women are still in the Champions League. Quarter-final next week against Bayern Munich away. That's going to be a great game. The Andreas Derby, as we like to call it. So we're going to be looking ahead to that. Andreas is going to give us all the lowdown on the Bayern Munich women. He's got some great information to give us tomorrow. That's going to be good. So join us for that. And then, of course, Sunday, the big one, Crystal Palace visiting the Emirates. We'll be live at 1:45 for the big kickoff at 2:00. Again, we have to win, of course. Big Patrick returning to the Emirates. Always a great moment. Great to see him back again at the Emirates. And let's hope that he's not celebrating too much at the end. But anyway, we shall see. Russ says, I'm gutted, Rich, a European record. No, I agree. I 100% agree with you. And I've said this throughout this season and previous seasons. We should have won more European trophies. You look at some of the finals that we've lost on penalties and, unlucky play here and there. It's, we need to be better, don't we? Just showing Xhaka's goal again, a good finish. But yeah, we need to be better, don't we? In Europe. And yeah, I'm gutted as well, mate. Honestly, I am. I wanted to win this competition, and it was a great opportunity this season, And the worst thing about it, really, for me, is next season we are going to be in the Champions League, barring some complete disaster. But we are going to be in the Champions League, and are we going to win the Champions League? Do we have a great chance to win the Champions League next year? No, I don't think we do. I think we haven't been in a competition for a while. I think it's going to take us 2 or 3 seasons in there to maybe readapt, build a squad that can compete in the Champions League. Whereas this Europa League was a great opportunity to win it. I say, you looked at the teams that were left in it, it's like, wow, this would have been a chance for us to improve that European record. And, winning the Europa League could have been a springboard to go on and win even bigger European trophies after. So, yeah, I'm disappointed, really. I really am disappointed. So, but it is what it is. And we're out. We can't do anything about it now. And the only thing we can do about it is to go on and make sure we do win the Premier League. Rajendra says the women to win the Champions League. Well, I'd love to see that as well, but I'm not sure if we're quite at that level with the players we've got injured at the moment, unfortunately. Rajendra says Jorginho was poor and he needed to be better. Yeah, I agree, as he has Holding, who needed to pass to him to direct the ball. But yeah, I didn't think Jorginho was great tonight. I've got to be honest. I didn't think he was particularly. He's played well. He's been a good signing, but he wasn't quite good enough tonight, was he, Jorginho, I'm afraid, along with 1 or 2 others. It's not just him. 1 or 2 others were a bit off their game as well. So, yeah, not the greatest performance from Arsenal, let's be honest. And I say 1 or 2 of the squad players maybe aren't quite there, are they, unfortunately? But, we're still a work in progress, perhaps. And if we win the Premier League, it'll be exceptional, won't it? And let's focus on that now. But yeah, it's been a disappointing night tonight, but we'll live with it. We'll move on to Sunday, and hopefully we will bounce back and be a lot stronger for this, and we can go on and win the big one at the end of the season. Let's see if we can. But yeah, no European trophy this year for us. And let's be honest, with the Champions League next year, probably no European trophy for us next season either, barring some miracle, but who knows. Rajendra says he kept slipping when he needed to hold the ball. Yeah, he did have a great game, did he? I mean, it was him that kind of lost the ball for the goal that they scored. But anyway, Colonel says there, can Arteta's job be under scrutiny if we don't win anything in the next years to come? Because yes, Premier League isn't done. No, the Premier League isn't done, of course. And I think any manager at Arsenal should be under scrutiny if we're not winning trophies. Of course, absolutely, whoever it is. Arsene Wenger got a lot of stick, didn't he, for not winning trophies all them years. And he maybe got away with it because every year we kept getting in the top four, getting in the Champions League. And, you know, that maybe kept him in his job a bit longer than maybe he would have done. But no, you're right. Every single Arsenal manager, if you don't win trophies, you should be under pressure. You should be under pressure yourself. You should feel that pressure because we should be winning trophies. So yeah, of course. And if we don't win the Premier League this year, then in the position that we're in and the position that we've been in most of the season, it would be a massive disappointment. But Arteta will get away with it this season because we wasn't at the start of the season, we wasn't expected to be in this position, was we? We wasn't expected to be where we are. So if we finish second, I think most people will be reasonably happy with that. I personally will think it'll be a massive disappointment because we should win it now, the position that we're in. You know, we just need 10 more wins. And I know it's not easy to win games in the Premier League, especially some of the ones that we've got to play, but the position that we're in, I'd be really, really disappointed if we didn't go on. When Redondo says he did win trophies, the FA Cup. Arsene Wenger did win trophies. What I mean is, it's like he did go 9 years without winning anything, didn't he? From 2005 to 2014, and you know, for a club like Arsenal, that isn't really good enough, is it, to go that long without a trophy, really? And he got away with it, say, because of all those Champions League finishes and stuff. So, will Arteta be able to go 9 years without winning a trophy? I'm not sure if he will. I don't think, you know, the club have stuck with him, as we said before. And it's paying off, but unless he starts winning trophies very soon and regularly challenging and being up there, then of course he's going to lose his job, like any manager does at any big club, you know, because that's the nature of it, isn't it? But you know, we're still in a great position, aren't we? And we still got a really big chance to win the league, so let's give everything for that now. And who knows where it might take us in May. It's going to be a good ride, isn't it? It's going to be exciting between now and the end of the season. 11 cup finals, as Mikel Arteta said tonight, starting on Sunday, and we need to win the first of those 11 cup finals, don't we? So join us for that. We'll be covering that game, of course. And I say tomorrow we have got the Arsenal Women's Weekly, which is going to be really good as well. So join us for that as well. Regina says, check they did win the FA Cup in those years. You have said. No, we didn't win anything between 2005 and 2014. They were both FA Cups. That was all that. We didn't win anything in all those years in between. We didn't. And that was, you know, everyone made such a big deal of it, didn't they? 9 years without a trophy for Arsenal. And that was why we celebrated that 2014 Cup final so much, because it was so important, really, because we'd gone so long without winning a trophy. But yeah, I mean, hopefully we won't have to wait 9 years to win another trophy, because you know, hopefully we just got to wait another few weeks, 2 months, and that'll be a trophy, maybe the big one. Imagine that. Imagine this Arsenal team winning the Premier League. Incredible. I don't like to think about it really too much at the moment because it stresses me out too much, really. I don't even think about it. Just play our games, watch our games, enjoy them if we can. We win, and that's it. Colonel says, like, if you have Arteta come in and after money to take Mikel as manager, though, would you let them? I think he sometimes has limitations. So yeah, no, I agree. No, Mikel Arteta does have limitations, and I think he's got quite a few limitations, if I'm honest. I think he's not flexible enough tactically. I think he's got a very rigid way of playing, and there's only certain players who can fit in with that. You know, you've seen what's happened to Kieran Tierney. He can't adapt to the situation. Tomiyasu struggled as well, the role he expects his players to play, and it makes it difficult, doesn't it, for any player coming in to be able to consistently fit that pattern of play. And I think Arteta's, you know, he's got to be a little bit more flexible. He's got to be able to adapt a bit more. But if we win the Premier League this year, great. We'll be more than happy with that. Regenda says 54-69. Well, no, that was our longest time without a trophy completely. Of course it was. But then look how many managers we had in that period of time. We had, 5, 6 different managers, maybe more. We had quite a few, didn't we? Billy Wright, Jack Crayston. There was quite a few, wasn't there, in that particular time, until Bertie Mee came in and we won. But yeah, that wasn't just with one manager, was it? No Arsenal manager's ever got 9 years without a trophy, apart from Arsene Wenger. He's only one ever to have done that. So, and Arteta certainly won't get 9 years Absolutely not. He definitely won't. The club have invested a lot in him. He's got to produce. He's got to start producing something quite soon. If we don't win the league this year, next season he's got to win a trophy, whether it's the FA Cup, whether it's the League Cup. He's got to win something next year. If he doesn't win the Premier League this year, absolutely got to. And hopefully we will. Regeneration says everyone has limitations. Of course they do. Everyone has limitations. Yeah, it's just how you cope with those limitations, and they don't restrict you and hold you back too much. And at the moment, they haven't done this season. Although we are out of 3 cup competitions, 2 of which were at home, disappointingly. 13 times we chatted in. Hello, how you doing, my friend? Hope you're well. Good to see you again. Disappointing night, obviously, but yeah, if we win on Sunday, no one will really care too much, will they? Let's be honest. Although I will, because European trophies would be nice. But it was not to be this season. We're out of Europe. We've lost on penalties, and I can't remember the last time we lost a penalty shootout. Arsenal. So if anyone knows, let me know. And I don't think we've ever had a penalty shootout at the Emirates before. And they're just showing a penalty again, the winning penalty, well taken. They scored all 5. Sporting, fair play to them. They deserve to win probably over the 2 games. And I say good luck to Sporting. They're a decent team. Would quite like to see them go on and win the cup now. Be nice, wouldn't it? Nothing against them. They've got a great bunch of fans. They've got some good players, play good football. Fair play to them, and well done to Sporting. But yeah, we'll soon get over this if we win on Sunday, won't we? And hopefully we will. 13 times says, yeah, not a great evening, but hey, let's look on the bright side. No more Thursday, Sunday football, and full focus on the league could be a blessing in disguise. Yeah, we said that before, mate. We did say a potential blessing in disguise. You never know for certain, do you? If we win the league, it would have been. But no, I agree. The Thursday, Sunday football, never ideal, especially at this point in the season coming up when we've got those big games in April in the Premier League. The last thing we needed was a Europa League game in between, if you're honest. But we need to win more European trophies, don't we? Regeneration says, everyone is good. And I was like, of course, yeah, hindsight is what makes, that's where you get perspective as well, isn't it? But so far in the Premier League, so good. But suddenly now the pressure's more on, isn't it? I was always looking at, well, we've got the Europa League to fall back on. We don't now. All or nothing, as the documentary said. All out in the Premier League. Regeneration says 11 finals to win. Yeah, well, 10. We need to win 10 of them, don't we? We might not need to win that many. As things stand, we need to win 10. We may only need to win 8 or 9. But let's try and win them all. But as many as we can. So yeah, not a great evening tonight, not a great performance. We didn't deserve to go through. Sporting are through to the quarterfinals, and we're out, and we can focus on Sunday now, Crystal Palace. So yeah, never mind. But so that's that then. Thank you all for watching. There's been quite a few people in the show tonight, which is nice. Hope you've enjoyed it. Please give it a like as well before you leave. Much appreciated. I'll be back tomorrow, 7:30 for the Arsenal Women's Weekly with the guys. We're going to be looking ahead to the Champions League next week. So it's still a European trophy for Arsenal to go for this season. It's the women in the Champions League. So let's look forward to that tomorrow. We're going to look ahead to that game, which is next week. And also as well, of course, on Sunday I'll be back with the Watchalong Crystal Palace visiting the Emirates, Patrick Vieira and all of that stuff. 1:45 I'll be live for that, so please join me for that as well. Regeneration says our team is learning from defeats and hopefully we'll put this to bed. But yeah, hopefully, yeah, we'll see Sunday, won't we? Let's wait and see. But yeah, let's hope we can and we bounce back. So yeah, loads of great stuff coming up on the channel. Please join us if you can for one of these shows. Regeneration says, come on, the Arsenal, come on. Colonel says, a good show, Rich. Thanks for it's nice to have a chill view on things after loss. Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of thinking more of doing a lot more after match shows actually, because I quite enjoy them. It's quite hard work doing the watch-alongs all the time because you've got to concentrate on the game and it's quite hard work. And then afterwards, when I've done that, I don't really feel like staying on for another hour and doing an after game show, but I do quite enjoy these. It is a nice way to get the game out of your system if it's a bad one, or a nice way to enjoy it if it's a good one. So I might do more actually. I might do more of these in the rest of the season. I'll see. Maybe keep the watch-alongs for the women and do the after match show for the men. Maybe might be something to look at. 13 times says chin up. Let's go again Sunday. Not tonight. Cheers, mate. Hopefully see you Sunday, or if you want to join us for the women's show tomorrow night, join us for that. We're good to see you. Anyway, that's that for tonight. Then it's quite late. I'm a bit tired. Had a busy day at work. Played five-a-side as well today, so I'm gonna have a little chill for half an hour and get to bed. And I'll see you all tomorrow night. So thanks for tuning in. It wasn't to be for Arsenal tonight in Europe, but it never is, is it? Let's be honest, it never is in Europe for us, but hopefully it will be in the Premier League over the next 11 games. Wow. Join us on Sunday for the Crystal Palace game if you can. Rodella says, you have the best watch-alongs. Well, I enjoy them. I'm glad you enjoy them as well, and other people. So, I mean, I'm not saying I'm going to give them up, but I quite enjoy doing these shows after a game, actually. But I'll see. I might mix it and match, maybe a few of each, maybe between now and the end of the season. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Please give us a like, as I say, and subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe as well. Why not subscribe? Because, you know, it's free and it's fun. And if you did want to join the channel, why not join as well? You can help us. You know, there's to run the channel, there's a lot of things I have to pay for. StreamYard, for example, to stream the shows, you know, Canva to design stuff, backgrounds and all that other stuff. It all costs money every month. So if any of you guys want to, you know, become a member of the channel, just help out with all that kind of stuff, great. And when we start making a little bit more money, it all goes back into the channel. I've already bought 1 or 2 extra bits of equipment. I bought a new camera last year and stuff to try and improve the coverage as well and be able to do a few more things. So, yeah, if you want to do that, we really appreciate it. Anyway, don't worry too much about that for now. Let's enjoy the rest of your evening if you can. And obviously, it's Friday tomorrow. Weekend's coming. Big weekend for Arsenal. Let's get that win on Sunday. But I say join me tomorrow if you can for the Women's Weekly Show at 7:30. Be great. At the end, we're going to look forward to the Andreas derby. That's going to be good. Thanks for watching tonight. See you later, guys. And we're out of Europe, but we're top of the Premier League. 5 points clear. Let's go. Come on, you guys. Real Martinelli. It's now with Granit Xhaka. Is it going to be the third goal? It is the third goal. Granit Xhaka with it. That seals it.